You usually. It must suck to be so jealous of another human being, especially your own half-sister, that you'll be plotting her death and demise for years. Because even if I die, you're still gonna be nothing. See, that's what you don't understand. When I die, the world will cry. When I die, my legacy will be known as continuing my father's legacy, helping the world save itself. What are you going to be remembered for, Lachelle? Being a terrible mother? Abusing animals? Having terrible taste in men? Being attracted to rapists? Marrying them and making babies with them? Sometimes I wonder if you and Onika might have some bloodline crossover, because the both of y'all like predators and monsters about the same. Yes, Tasha K has been working with my sister, Lachelle, to try to find a way to have me abducted so that I can be disappeared and Shelly can inherit all of my money. Really, Shelly? Now I told you had 24 hours to produce the body. Produce the body, Shelly. You know, the family is actually supposed to do a viewing before cremation. Which means, if you cremated our mother, you did that illegally. Because you are not her power of attorney. You never were. You did not get anything changed. You didn't want to. Because you were believing Tasha K when she told you that I was going to be killed in jail. And I'm not saying allegedly. You, Tasha K, Monica Lockett, all worked together last year to have me put in jail so that I could be poisoned like my friend Albert Brown and die. And then this way you don't have to worry about doing no paperwork, right, Shelly? Cain killed Abel, didn't he? You want to know what's even worse? A lot of people are having a hard time believing that my mother is dead. Where's the body? Where's the body? Where is my mother's body? Who plays these kind of games? Oh yeah, I'll tell you who. Lachelle Angela Fields Wright Wallace. I mean, that's what I was told. People called me on social media, told me my mom was dead. Then they started reporting it, and then the next thing you know, people started collecting cash apps on YouTube channels for a funeral that doesn't exist. And we still haven't seen a body yet. Let's take a little poll, shall we? Put a 1 in the chat if you think it's time for my sister to produce my mother's body. Put a 1 in the chat if you think it is time for my sister to produce my mother's body. Oh, I don't know. Adrian Deontay Lewis lied and said that my mother was in Pennsylvania, but I talked to family in Pennsylvania. My mother is not there. No one in Philadelphia has seen my mother in quite some time. Matter of fact, nobody in my family has seen my mom or talked to my mom. I talked to 4 or 5 of my cousins, and guess what they said? When your mother was with you, she was happy, she was healthy. When she was with you, Jackie, she called us. We talked to her all the time. Nobody can get your mom on the phone. No one has talked to my mother since she's been in Lachelle's care. So I'm just curious, how does a woman go from being 76 and spry to 78 and dead of congested heart failure? Produce the body, Shelly. There are people in this chat right now who remember what an embarrassment you were at Black Lily. Coming to the club, getting drunk, passing around pregnancy tests, competing for men that didn't want you. You remember that, Shelly? When you and our cousin Dania was fighting over Christopher Jordan, who ended up going with Deanna Williams after I hooked the two of them up. You don't remember that night? Y'all was passing around that pissy pregnancy test on drink trays at Black Lily. How embarrassing. Or maybe that time I took you to Japan and you had a deal with Crystal, who was also in Surviving Tasha K, and the other cousins who were involved. How you made a bet with them that you were going to have sex with every last one of the Roots. Oh yeah, and ran up nearly a $2,000 incidental bill at my hotel when everything was provided and you had your own junior suite. You were barred from the club because you were drunk and unruly. You were always an embarrassment. Couldn't take you anywhere without getting drunk, throwing up all over the place. Where that night I had to stop the guys from raping you in the Roots room because you were laid out in the back, drunk, with your skirt hiked all the way up and no underwear. And the fellas was like, yo, there's this joint in the back. Yo, man, she ain't got no panties on. Yo, we about to go tap that. I'm like, are you kidding me? And I walked back there to go help that young lady, whoever it was. And turns out it was my sister. My sister. And then I got you, took you to the bathroom, cleaned you up, and then we sat in the A room with Jill Scott. And she fed you that dry ass tuna that she made because she don't know how to cook. So you could sober up. Because you was about to get a train ran on you. I shouldn't have went back there. I should have let them rape you just like you let your husband rape me. I shouldn't have went back there to save you. I should have let every last one of them niggas run through you. I mean, that's what you wanted. No, you sent your boyfriend to rape me and then you married him and made babies and had babies with him. And I mean that. Jamie Wallace, with no middle name, is a rapist. He was my rapist. And you married him. He wasn't my brother-in-law when he raped me. He was just some nigga that had knocked her up. No. They made it official a few months later, and I had to sing the Lord's Prayer at that sham of a wedding. Shelly, you got 6 more hours. It's 10:09. By end of business today on the East Coast, which is 5 p.m. I better know where to go collect my mother's body. If I do not, I'm going to start interviewing people that know you. You want to go on an exposure campaign, Lachelle? Let's do it. So this is my offer. For 20 minutes of conversation, real, actionable conversation, I will pay $100 to anybody who is willing to come here on my Instagram page and allow me to ask you honest questions about Lachelle Angela Fields Wright Wallace. Anybody want to have an honest chat with me about Shelly? Yes, that's all I'll pay for 20 minutes. It ain't worth more than that. I'll buy you a nice dinner to tell the truth about my sister. That's as much as I'll pay, though. Who's sick? Who's sick? You want to know what sick is? Pretending that your mother is dead so you can get cash out and try to get your sister clipped so that you can inherit money that was not left to you. See, you was the prodigal child. Whatever inheritance you would have gotten, you've already wasted it on drugs. That's personal choice. Sick is playing 3-card Monty with your mother's body. I don't know if my mother's dead or not dead. All I can go by is what people have been saying. And there are over 50 thumbnails on YouTube right now that are listing my mother as deceased and floating my sister's cash app through the chat to pay for a funeral that's not being planned and no one knows anything about. Yes, there is no death certificate. We've looked in 4 different states. But if there is a death certificate, I'm sure Social Security is going to find it. Since my mother has been listed as deceased. No Social Security check next week, Shelly. And there won't be no benefit check at the first of the month. See, this is what's terrible about this story. That it's not a story. It's real. I'm sorry, what did you say? Who is this? Did somebody say cousin? Who this? Who this person talking about cousin? Please let me do what? I mean, the truth is my family should have came forward a long time ago. A lot of my family should have came forward a long time ago. Alma Horton should have came forward a long time ago. Because Alma, when the industry was running you ragged, when Philly almost drove you insane and you were ready to commit suicide, cousin, it was your family that came and grabbed you. And I took you to Europe with me. And you got a whole new zest for life. I will never regret me and you in Berlin, Germany, eating butter chicken. And you're like, that's it. This is my favorite meal. Girl, I love me some butter chicken. And when we came back to Philly and you would come by the house to eat, because I often would cook and you would come by, you would ask me, can you make that butter chicken? I love you, Alma, I do. But if anybody should have called anybody out about that Tasha K nonsense, it should have been you. You know who else should have spoke up? I can think of a lot of people that should have spoke up. My god sister, Lynette Galladay. Her mother is my godmother, Lois Bethay. And the last time I called her and spoke to her about what's going on in our family before the so-called news of my mother's passing, you know what she said? She was minding her business. She wasn't getting into it. It's a good thing I didn't say that about our brother, Kenyon. Kenyon was your biological brother. He was my god brother. I spent more money supporting and taking care of him until the day that he died than you ever did, Lynette. When your son Jesse was out there in them streets, I spared you the things that I know that happened to him that you didn't know. Lynette, it was my kids that came back and told me what they was doing with Jesse and how Jesse was going. And I'm grateful that Jesse is alive. See, Giovanni isn't. Because when Jesse was high off of his ass on those pills and those boys was about to rape him, and Giovanni came in there and pistol whipped everybody and got your son out of there. Your son and your daughter high on pills and drugs out there in them streets. Lynette Galladay. And while you were busy minding your business, me and my son kept an eye on your children. Oh, God, sister. I thought of you on the 1st of April this year because we used to talk every year on Kenyon's birthday, April Fool's Day. And I almost tried to reach out to you. And then I realized when I called you to talk to you about my dead sister, Otilia, I remember what you said. You were minding your business. Maybe my son should have minded his business when your son was about to get raped. Because he was high. Out of his mind. I can think of a lot of people that should have spoke up. Maybe like my brother, Norman Lindsay Wright Jr., my father's namesake, who would rather be known as Mr. Henry's son than our father's son. Ain't that right, brother? Ain't nobody play with your mama body when she died. Actually, y'all weren't even there. You or Rotelia. It was me and Daddy. Me and our father who stood at your mother's deathbed as she died. If y'all had came to Daddy first, he would have taken her to Dr. Hanish, and Dr. Hanish would have properly diagnosed her. But no. It was my father who took care of his ex-wife, who left him for a pedophile, who raped her daughter and paid her son to mind his business. Like, there's so many family secrets I haven't told. But let's just be honest. Norman, you're a predator protector. A Pierre Cardin jacket was enough to buy your silence while your sister was being raped by the man your mother left our father for. And y'all were willing to sue our father over that house over there on Henry Street when Shelley destroyed it, ripped it to shreds, drug paraphernalia, cat vomit, tampons on the floor. The pictures that Tilia sent Daddy were disgusting. But the simple fact that you went against me and Daddy and let Shelley live in that house when we told you what she was going to do with it, and then had the audacity to try to sue our father for it. Why didn't you sue Shelley? She the one that messed up your mama's house. I can think of a lot of people that should have spoke up for me. I can think of a lot of people that ain't done right by me. I can think of a lot of people who are so pathetic and hard up for cash that they would rather watch me be destroyed than tell the truth so that they can be on the next jazz cruise. Like, real rad. I'm the one person in my family that don't lie about nothing. And out of respect for my godmother who's still alive, I'll keep my mouth shut about your father, Lynette. When it comes to your daddy, I mind my business, you know? You can put as many swords as you want in my check. The only thing that's going to happen is guaranteeing gang stalking, and that Danielle Elizabeth Allen goes to jail where she belongs. Because if my mother is not dead, then that means every last one of you YouTube CCs that was floating around that Cash App for the funeral, that ain't going to happen. Because ain't no body yet. Ain't no death certificate yet. All of you are going to be charged with fraud. People wonder why I don't bang with a lot of my family. Guess what? I get it honest. A lot of people didn't bang with my daddy either. You know how upset my mother's family was at Daddy Mac's funeral when my father sat there on that pulpit and acknowledged that man for the raping, child raping and molesting, murdering piece of shit he was. Oh, they was mad at my dad. A lot of people didn't like my dad because my dad told the truth no matter what. One of the most honest men in the world. But I think the most disgusting thing that I heard was that Lachelle Angela Fields Wright Wallace rapist Maria, she actually said that my dad sexually assaulted me and was Giovanni's father. She said she wouldn't say it on camera, but she would confirm it off camera. What would make you say such a terrible thing about the only man that ever showed you any respect? Your daddy ran out, your real father, Larry Lacey. Please look him up. He's a Hollywood orthodontist. He's a Scientologist. I think he lives over there in Calabasas.